All right, it is 6 o'clock and I'd like to open up our city council meeting for Monday, February 3rd, 2025. I ask that we please settle down. I ask that we please stand for invocation and remain standing for the pledge allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag for the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us prepare ourselves for our invocation. Most gracious and heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you this day to say thank you, O Father God. We thank you for all the blessings that you give us, O Father God. We ask that you watch over our alderman, Mike Jackson. He lost his son, Jonathan, and he has to prepare himself for the many journeys ahead without his son, oh Father God. We ask that you continue to watch over, keep him, and bless him, oh Father God, as he goes through that terrible time. Lord, we just ask that as we start our city council meeting, we continue to do things decent in order under your watch, oh Father God. This we pray in your darling son Jesus' name and for his sake. Amen. 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 All right, roll call.
Alderman Jackson, Alderman Coleman. I think that was gonna happen, I'm sorry. Return. Give me 1 second. Okay. Alderman Coleman.
Yeah, present.
Alderman Evans.
Here.
Alderman Allen.
Here.
Alderman Smith.
Present.
Alderman Murphy. Alderman January.
Present.
All right, Alderman Jackson did say he was not gonna be able to make it tonight, either in person or on Zoom. But Alderman Murphy, is also out, sick, and she would like to join us via Zoom. Could I have a motion to accept Alderman Murphy?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Allen, second by Alderman Smith, that Alderman Murphy be allowed to come in via Zoom. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Coleman.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Here.
Alderman, no, it's
Aye.
aye or nine.
Oh, all right. Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
Alderman Smith.
Aye.
Alderman January.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Alderman Murphy, you now are allowed to come in under Zoom.
Thank you.
Omnibus vote agenda.
Mayor Rockingham,
Alderman Allen,
I make a motion that we approve 5-1 through 5-9 as presented. Second.
been moved by Alderman Allen, second by Alderman Evans, that the omnibus vote agenda be passed as presented. Are there questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
Alderman Smith.
Aye.
Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman January. Alderman Jackson, Alderman Coleman.
Motion carried. Public comment. Anything under public comment?
Crystal D. Ayers.
You can come up, but I think you're also in the committee also. Correct.
I just want to introduce myself. I'm Christelle Ayers. I own Amos Limousine and Bus, and I'm hoping to be a part of North Chicago as a business. So I'm hoping to move my business to North Chicago.
Okay, and Taylor, that's correct, right? She's under committee? Okay,
Yes.
just make sure. Okay.
Jessica Garcia. Okay. Elaine Collins.
If you want, we can bring the mic to you. Okay, no
That's
problem.
okay.
Take your time. All right.
Slow motion better than no motion.
I like this girl lives on the second floor. She said, I think you live on the main floor. She goes,
Hey, they coming from somebody they said would never walk again. So I'm gonna walk.
All right, all right.
Hey, good evening, everyone. My motion is very simple. My name is Miss C. If you don't know me, Miss Collins. I am going to have prayer meeting every first Tuesday
All right.
and third Tuesday, right, 5 o'clock,
Bye.
my house. 2645 Spruce Drive. I live in Brookstone at Coles Park. Everyone is welcome. Please come out so you can see what's going on in this neighborhood. All right? Amen.
Thank you. Did you put that?
Rayon Edwards.
Good evening, community, city council.
Good evening.
Tonight, I'm gonna ask this council to entertain something for me, because I missed the last meeting. But Mayor, there was a few things that happened at the last meeting that I didn't agree with. We let Pastor Debbie Richardson stand up here for 8 minutes and talk. For almost eight minutes. Let me finish, because I watched it. We also said to the North Chicago Housing Authority director that we don't do dialogue. That's what we said. How many times have I told y'all don't do dialogue with me if you're not prepared to do it with everybody else? And when that director wasn't here, everybody had something to say. Everybody had their mouth on it. Everybody was so damn professional and knew everything about North Chicago Housing Authority. And then when the director get here, ain't nobody got nothing to say. Nobody got no questions. I was surprised and very disgusted because, Mayor, I said to you, the issue that I have with you, sir, is this. When we electing people for these elected boards, we should get people with experience, because no way in the city of North Chicago or any other city, well, I've seen somebody come up here and trash or watch their entity getting trashed. You had a board member here who couldn't even get up here and cite anything about what's going on in the entity that he sit on the board with. That didn't make no sense to me. None. So tonight I'm gonna talk about a few things, okay? Because we playing politics and it's disgusting to me. Mr. Evans, I'm gonna start with you, sir. Because when Mr. Brooks was here, you wanted to introduce him to everybody. And you did that because he's running for office, because he ain't did nothing in the city of North Chicago for you to be putting him on a platform. And he's here, and I'm glad he's here. Let me finish, because this is my time, sir.
But you're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong, because this is my time. And so what happened was, I was a part of a meeting. And that meeting that I was a part of, that gentleman's wife was gonna run for Miss January seat. But she took a job in Waukegan. And because she took that job, she couldn't be here. And so now you and the mayor, because at first, sir, you wasn't supporting the man. Come on, talk to me. When he cut your credit card, yeah, talk to me. And so I'm asking this attorney today, I want you to explain to me exactly what these arguments supposed to do with these credit cards. Not to be having no damn parties in our city. Because, Mr. Mayor, I'm seeing you and Mr. Evans get to Paris Banquet Hall whenever y'all want to. But a resident called them, they told me $10,000 to have an event for the kids of this community. That's disgusting to me. So I want to know what you and Mr. Evans know that I don't know.
We
'Cause
paid.
You ain't paying no
You
$10,000.
don't know what we
You can
paid.
talk to anybody. See, this is what I'm talking about. And we should be checking him. Because this is my time.
Time's up.
And when my time is up, when my time is here, I shouldn't be interrupted at all.
I asked him to.
But Mr. Mayor, you haven't said nothing because he did it several times. But see,
I-
this is what happened. Because if I was standing here talking about Kathy January, you wouldn't have opened your mouth.
Sure
You
wouldn't
wouldn't
have.
have been okay. But since I'm holding your feet to the
That's
fire,
right.
it's wrong. Give me another
It's fine.
minute because I got to say this. Because Mr. Mayor, what I'm most disgusted about is you have a challenger for this primary. I helped put some signs up at that 14th Street gas station of Alderman Kenneth Smith. They disappeared. The signs at the corner of Green Bay and 14th Street disappeared. So I helped the 14th Street gas station all the time because that's not North Chicago. That's Waukegan. They have people going up in there stealing beer and stuff. So I connected them with the deputy chief of Waukegan, Deputy Chief Meade. I've been up in there to look at those cameras on 1,000,000 times, and they showed them to me voluntarily. But when those signs went missing, I went and asked. You know what he said to me? Oh, no. I was there at Paris Banquet Hall when we asked, could we put a sign up there? They said yes to me. Go back 2 days later with the sign, they said, the mayor talked to me. I can't do it. Attorney, I don't know what you're doing. Seriously. And in the most respectful, humble way, I'm sick of you. Because we pay you too much money. And I don't ever know when you work. I don't see no work that you're doing. And so I'm asking this council today, how much of this taxpayer dollars is we gonna keep throwing away? Huh? Everybody got the answers. Y'all the elected officials, y'all the leaders. What y'all have been for a very long time is thumbtacks. Is doing what you're being told to do. Because can't none of y'all look at this agenda and cite to me about nothing on there. That's why we do an omnibus agenda. We're not explaining to this community where their tax dollars are going to. So what I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna sit on down. We gotta fight February 25th. And I know in 2 years, 2, 4, and 6 got to see them polls. And I promise you, as long as God got breath in my body, y'all gonna see a different side. Cause some of y'all are trash and some of y'all need to go respectfully. Okay? Because when we taking care of the business of the people, it's not about y'all or your selfish agendas or whatever it is y'all trying to do. It's about these people that pay all these taxes in your city because we got the highest paying taxes there is. And we ain't got to go
Mr.
to
Edwards,
a pharmacy.
I
or
gave you a
nothing.
little additional time.
Okay, I know you did, but next time, Mr. Mayor, I want 8 minutes like Pastor Richardson got, because I counted, I put it on my stopwatch. And it gave me 8 minutes and 17 seconds. And I know I ain't got no title with my name, sir, but I do a lot of work in these cities from North Chicago to
And
Zion.
you know I
as
do
it
some,
relates to
and
my
you know I
seniors
support you too.
and my kids.
And you know
So
I
what I'm
support you.
saying to you, sir, is next time, let's make sure we enforce these rules for everybody.
And-
Because Alderman Coleman did say, Mr. Evans, you was wrong, and y'all shut him up. And I don't
Let me-
always agree with him, but he was right that day because that was politics at its finest.
Okay, and let me just say this
It's
also.
what we call in the hood.
Mr.
nigga
Edwards, Mr. Edwards, thank you. Thank you very much. And let me just say, no, I'm telling it to the people, I'm telling it to people that are sitting out here. You know I will, and you know I will.
With that direction about her entity, Ms. Edward, did you make a call? Oh, okay, I think that you did. Nurse. No,
Thank-
I don't. Ooh,
Thank you, Mr. Edwards.
did you hear? I need to be careful. How do I take that? Because in the Black community, that's considered a threat.
If that is the case, then you could have, you can.
No, I ain't gonna have the police. I don't have them.
You can see that? All right.
You better be careful with the question, sweetheart. Your husband got open wounds. How about you tend to that instead of trying to run an entity? You can't not bring them in over here for everybody else to smell that shit.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards.
You're trash, honey, and don't go there with me. You are, because you don't wanna go there with me.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. Next.
That's the last.
All right. Thank you very much. Let me just say also, they, you know, I have allowed, political, statements here, which is not allowed. I allowed it last week. I allowed it this week. And as I was gonna tell, Mr. Edwards, is that I was gonna make sure that, Ms. Richards knew that she had 3 minutes. And that's all today. I gave her grace, just like as I gave Mr. Edwards grace today. But we know we are in a political season. There's a lot of tension that's going on between things that are, people that are out running. And I accept that. I've seen that over my time here on as mayor and as an alderman. As far as signs go, yes, I'll say this in regards to the political side of it. My signs have been taken down.
go ahead.
And I'm well aware of it. Now, for me, I put my signs back up. If I can find them, I'll put them back up. The state took down quite a few of the signs. And if you go to the state's their facility on Washington Street, If you have signs that were been removed, you may be able to find them there. So that's where I found my signs at. And, you know, so this, again, political time, I'm well aware of it, I accept it. I will put the leather on my back and continue to move on and press on. But at some point, we do have to do city council business, and that's what we're here for. We're not here to do political business. That's done outside on your own. So from here on out, I ask that those candidates or those who support candidates, please, 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 do as much as you want, Facebook or wherever else, but don't bring it back in here. Thank you very much. Okay. Regular agenda. 7-1, consideration and approval of the lease option agreement. AC Power at 0 Casimir Pulaski, 13th
13th.
Street.
Mayor Rockingham. Oh,
Alder-
right ahead.
Alderman Evans, go ahead, make the motion.
Okay. I would like to approve the lease option agreement, AC Power at 0 Casimir Pulaski, 13th Street.
Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Evans, second by Alderman Allen, that 7-1 be passed as presented. Are there questions?
Yep,
Uh,
yeah, go ahead and
all
let us
yours,
explain
Taylor.
this.
Yeah, I was just gonna update the city council. Thanks for the time. Last meeting during committee, we considered this lease option agreement. Just to clarify again, this is not the lease agreement itself. This is just an option. We put it on the regular agenda for tonight's meeting because there was still some terms being worked by the city's attorney's office. Those have been finalized. Both parties are in agreement on the lease option agreement. It's a $2,000 per quarter rate for 2 years, up to 2 years. And then they would have the option to take on a lease with the city for the property. So those are the terms, and we're ready for approval so that we could execute that lease option agreement.
Any questions from the council? Alderman Smith.
Just to be crystal clear, it's after the 2 year, we're gonna still just give them an option to lease, not to purchase, correct?
So yes, this is contemplating a lease, not a purchase.
Okay.
That's correct.
Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Allen,
Aye.
Alderman Smith,
Aye.
Alderman Murphy,
Aye.
Alderman January. Aye. Alderman Coleman, Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Motion carried. 7-2, consideration and approval of disabled resident parking permit at 1208 Wadsworth Avenue.
Mayor Rockingham.
Alderman Evans.
I would like to approve of disabled parking permit at 1208 Wadsworth Avenue as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Evans, second by Alderman Smith, that 7-2 be passed as presented. Are there questions on the parking permit? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Smith,
Did you have
I have a question.
Yes, Alderman Smith.
Is this parking permit for a specific family individual or is it open to anyone?
It's
For the address.
for the ad, yes, because we can't, I don't think we can do it for individuals.
Right.
Is that-
So if Junebug has a sticker, he can park there and the people who live there, if they come to complain, do they have to move?
The car would not have to move.
Okay, as long as they have a sticker, then anybody can park there.
So, yep, handicap spot,
Thank you.
okay? All right. Any other questions?
Mayor,
Alderman Evans?
with that question, if a citizen like this person here at 1208 Wadsworth, this is specifically for them,
For that address.
for that address.
Right.
This is not for
But if,
any handicapped person just to park.
go ahead, attorney.
Yeah, you can't reserve space for a particular individual on a public right of way. But you can provide for the convenience of a person who needs a handicap spot, that spot that's in front of their house on the street. But anyone with a handicap sticker
Has the
can
right to
park there, yes.
Because the reason I'm asking the question is because I have a resident that's handicapped. Now, she can't get into her spot. And because somebody else is handicapped, because somebody's visiting someone. So what's the purpose of them going through this procedure of getting a handicap spot if anybody that's handicapped could just park there.
Well, again, it is for the convenience of the person who resides at the address that needs the handicap spot. Perhaps that person could come in and seek another handicap spot on the same stretch of street.
Can we put on those handicap signs, can we put that specific address on there?
No. No,
We could put it in front of that address, but we cannot put it.
You can put it in front of it?
You know, when we put the handicap markings, it's gonna be in front of that address,
Okay,
but we can't put, it's for this address. You know, we,
cause that's gonna be kinda difficult.
in most cases, that when we usually put handicap spots, I mean, that's usually the only person that has a handicap, you know.
Right, but,
That they use.
but,
But it's not just for that person, but it, you know, I know there's one over on 17th and Elizabeth, I think we had one at one
Yeah,
point.
yeah, sure did.
And, you know, that was kind of where the only person was there was the person that was living at
Right.
that address.
right,
But I mean, if there's others, then if we start to see that spot is being used by another person, then we might have to have that, like you said, come and have another spot designated, you know, in that same area,
okay,
okay?
all right, thank you.
Got it?
Mr. Chairman,
Alderman Coleman, you?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
question. This address is in the first ward, correct?
Yes.
I haven't got a chance to talk, I don't know if anyone talked to Mr. Jackson about it, but out of respect to Mr. Jackson, this being his ward, what does the council think about tabling it to the
Put it in
next
for-
meeting?
Made the request.
Yeah,
Everybody feel comfortable?
yeah, I think he would,
He
He
made the
verified.
request. Mhm.
he was good with it, okay? Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call?
Alderman Smith. Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman January.
Aye.
Alderman Coleman.
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye,
Alderman Allen.
Aye,
Motion carried. City bills,
Mayor Rockingham,
Alderman Allen.
I make a motion that we approve the city bills plus the special bill we had on there was $333,990.23 plus the $350. The total amount is $334,340.23 when funds come available.
second,
Been moved by Alderman Allen, second by Alderman Evans, that the city bills be paid as presented. Are there any questions regarding the bills? Alderman January.
Thank you. Who am I speaking to? How you doing?
Good. How are you, sir? How are you, Alderman January?
I'm hanging in there. How about you?
I'm doing good.
Okay. My usual questions. Are there sufficient funds to cover the bill run, and when will the checks be cut and sent?
There are sufficient funds in the bank account to cover the bill run. The checks will be cut tomorrow and then sent on Wednesday.
And how much is in the water fund liquefied and available as of end of business day? I think Thursday now is where we're
Yeah,
at.
I think the 30th was the last day, was for Thursday. It was $4,992,170.42.
And then Mr. Treasurer, how?
Sure.
Non-liquid?
Yeah, the non-liquid that is in the market is $1,511,151.96. That was as of market close today.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
$1,511,151.96.
Did you get it?
Say it again.
$1,511,151. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Alderman Coleman, did you have a question?
Yes, Tawanda, there was a reinstall in the operator's room for the camera. Was that on this bill run? For obvious reasons, I can't.
Not that I'm aware of, for the cameras that was done at the water
Yeah,
department.
yeah, yes, there was a reinstallation of one.
I don't believe so. Yeah, I was gonna say, I haven't seen the invoice just yet.
I was the vendor on that and I didn't see anything past it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
not
Just for the
not
record.
as of yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any way you can let me know as soon as
When
it
it
does?
comes?
Just shoot me an email.
Yeah,
All
sure.
right, thank you.
Okay, any other questions on the bills? Hearing none, roll call?
Alderman Murphy. Aye. Alderman January,
No.
Alderman Coleman,
Aye.
Alderman Evans,
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
Alderman Smith.
Aye.
Motion carried. Miscellaneous business, anything under miscellaneous? Hearing none under oh, I'm sorry, Alderman January,
Yes.
go right ahead.
Question. This is based off of a recent, statement that you have made publicly, on behalf of the city of North Chicago. But my question goes back to, do we have ordinances in place? Because I don't recall, ordinance in place that states we are a sanctuary city.
No, nothing in there.
So we've never declared ourselves as a sanctuary city, correct?
No, but what I did put out is that if there are ICE agents in North Chicago, the city of North Chicago will not support them through the police department or utilize our jails to put any of their people that they may arrest.
And who gave you that authority to do so?
That's a good point.
As the executive director, as mayor of the city of North Chicago.
That is supposed to go through the council here whenever there is something that is going to be affecting the citizens. And you made that decision on your own. You didn't call this alderman to let me know this was occurring.
Well, I don't.
So, and I know you've probably not called the other alderman as well. So again, you're making decisions without the alderman being involved. We are the citizens' voice, and we need to have that input as well.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you. Statement did go out, though. Anyone else? Alderman
Mr.
Coleman.
Mayor, I have to agree with Alderman January. We are elected by our residents, and collectively we make a decision as a whole. And I've expressed to you on numerous occasions that I don't have a problem agreeing with you, and I agree with you on the ICE situation. But if you can just kind of inform the alderman for the record so that when people call us, we know what's going on. Or we get questioned by our residents, we can pass that information along. So just as a common courtesy, if you can include the alderman with big decisions like that, considering we're not a sanctuary city, that would be great. And a question for the attorney. Can we support the mayor and make it a sanctuary city and vote that in?
You can declare through a legislative act that you're a sanctuary city. What that means in practical terms when the federal government is here trying to arrest people who are not here with proper documentation or whatever, that becomes a whole other issue. But because I will tell you, as you know, in Chicago, which is a sanctuary city legislatively, they are doing, ICE is doing operations in the city. So.
And the reason why I asked that is because we don't want to wait until the situation is upon us. And if our leader of the city has already made that decision, then would legislative action support that? So if it did happen, the mayor, the executive made that decision, and he has the council support legislatively to back that up.
I think if that's the council's will, then that's something it should do to support the mayor's directive to the police department.
And I just wanted to put that consensus out there. I'm not putting it on the floor. I just want you to know that that's what I would want the law to back that.
I would personally, Alderman, would say that I don't think that would be a good decision to declare necessarily a sanctuary city. Now, we could do things that will be in place, like the letter that I did put out to say this is what our officers are gonna do. But then when you start to say that we are a sanctuary city, then that puts a whole different designation on us and also puts a spotlight on us. So we don't want the spotlight on us if their agents are here, and then we could get other, I want to say, other reprimands that may come with that designation. I know there's been quite a few communities throughout Lake County that has put pretty much that blanket statement out there of how we're going to handle if ICE comes into our community. But to start designating sanctuary cities, now, again, they will come and also possibly do legal processes on the city, which we do not want to bring. So I would preferably say, council, that is something that we do not want to get involved with.
And I would also like to let the council as a whole, you know, these are people's lives that are on the line, and our personal differences sometimes that we have, but I want you to know, and I would hope that all of the aldermen would support the mayor in any of the decisions that he made as the leader of the city. So I support you on whatever you have to do with ICE, sir. Thank you.
And I will make sure that any other statements that are going out, council will be made aware of.
Mayor,
Alderman Smith.
just for clarity, did you send us information of that? Because it was kind of awkward that I'm finding out about it on Facebook and people were calling me. So in case I missed the email, did you send us?
No, I apologize, it did not. It was, did you? Oh,
Okay, that's why I asked that, in case I missed it. 'Cause Thank you, okay. And then the second question, let's say ISIS shows up, they knocks on Junebug's door, and that goes down in our city. Now, I understand what you said, what we're not going to do, but let's say that happens, now the light is on us, as they're doing with other cities. What is our repercussion, or how we're gonna handle that? Because 9 chances out of 10, we do have some people who fit that description.
It's important to note that there was no call for a sanctuary city as part of this announcement that came out. The language of it reflects the Illinois Trust Act. The Illinois Trust Act is a mandate from the Attorney General's office that says local communities are not allowed to service any warrant or service any detention, arrest, or utilize the jails or allow entry unless there's a signed warrant by the judge and by a judge. If it is by a judge, then we have to comply. Otherwise, if it's not signed by a judge, it's a violation of the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. And the communication that went out, because I got asked questions on it, it's a reflection of stating we're going to do what the law tells us to do. And then as far as available resources, I don't want to say we struggle, but we have challenges making sure our resources are adequate enough to service our residents, much less try to deploy those to support a federal operation that is could potentially, in some cases, be in violation of the Constitution of the United States. So.
And I guess another part of that would be since you sent that letter out and that was good, would be a lot of the citizens are uneasy. Maybe we could send something out as well saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. If you have any questions, how they can get in contact with us somehow to.
well, I think that falls more under Mano a Mano and their organization and organizations that are out there that are able to help those citizens that may have, questions in that respect. Because if it's from the city, more than likely, we're gonna just refer them back to mano a mano, also, to make sure that they have all the proper information that's out there.
Okay, and I hear what you're saying, but what is, I wish they were here, but I'm just saying, we're shifting that to mano a mano, but they may not want to take that on. I mean, I think we
No,
need.
I spoke with mano a mano.
Okay.
And that's kind of what they tell me to try to, to give them that opportunity.
Okay, then maybe we could also send something out on our page, on the city page. Hey, if you need more information, or that Monty Mono is available
Mhm.
to answer questions. Thank you.
Sure, okay. Anything else? All right, before we go into executive session, I did receive something from District 187. They are going to be hosting a hiring fair, the new Forestall Elementary School. They're going to be doing a community hiring fair on February 20th from 5 to 6. It's going to be at the Neal Math and Science Academy. So please, we'll post this up on our website just to let the citizens know that this will be available to them. So please, if you know of anybody that is looking for a job or wish to try to be hired into District 187, please get in contact with them so that they can be aware of this. All right. Hearing nothing else under miscellaneous, we do have executive session 5 ILCS 2 C11 pending or litigation. So can I have a motion? Been moved by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Coleman, that we go into executive session. Roll call.
Alderman Jackson, Alderman Coleman, Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen,
Aye.
Alderman Smith, Alderman Murphy,
Aye.
Alderman January.
She tell you.
All right, motion carried. We shouldn't be long. We should be back in just a little bit.
No.
Oh.
Sorry.
All right. We have a motion by Alderman Coleman, second by Alderman Allen to reopen our city council meeting. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Coleman, that our city council stand adjourned. Is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
One second, I'm exchanging the absent. Who's first?
Judiciary.
Who's the chairman?
Oh,
Hold on
Alderman
one second, let me
Jackson.
check. Second. That would be Alderman Evans. You are judiciary
Co-chair.
co-chair.
Yep.
I'd like to open up the Judiciary Committee meeting. Roll call.
Alderman Jackson, Alderman Coleman, Alderman Evans,
Aye.
Alderman Allen,
Aye.
Alderman Smith,
Aye.
Alderman Murphy. Alderman
Aye.
Murphy, Alderman.
Present.
January. Okay,
I think Alderman January stepped out.
yeah,
for
she
a
stepped
second,
out for
but
a
she'll be
second.
back.
Okay, at this time, we'll have a discussion and review of Brookstone at Coles Park.
Yep, come on up.
I saw you walking in, so.
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, the most recent update, we have in a week the safety plan to go up for review to see what was accomplished off the commitments made by Brookstone. We had an incident over the last week where there was no hot water in the senior portion of Brookstone. It took the mayor to call down to Georgia to get some kind of response, and it still took 5 days for them to bring water back into the building. Finally, legal counsel, contacted me today regarding, Brookstone's response to the punch list that needed to be done. They looked at the punch list and decided this is what they were gonna do, checked off what they were gonna do, and the $7.3 million surety bond, they are saying that they are only committing to doing $200,000 worth of work. We sent the communication back, pretty much saying it was ridiculous, it was insulting, and it was absurd, and that the city was standing its firm in its ground, per the mayor's direction, that we will not move a penny off that $7.3 million, and gave direction to begin litigation. So, and that litigation will charge back to the surety bond. So that's the most recent update.
So just to let you know, a lot of the things that, you know, they're trying to sign off and says, you know, things like the retention pond, there's supposed to be a shelf around it in case someone does fall into it, that, you know, it doesn't go all the way down to the bottom. There's a lot of things out there that when they built the building and the establishment, if they would have checked off on them, they might have been okay. But now they've waited so long, some of the painting on the striping on the roads are gone. The sidewalks have started to deteriorate. They need to make sure that they're up to code so we could check off on them and then we could move on. But they don't want to do that. They want to just continue to pass it off and says, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. No, the residents of Brookstone and Coles Park deserve better. And you're right. And we've been telling them, they've got an surety bond of $7 million. Get those issues repaired and get things done that are meant to be. And yes, I'm basically holding them accountable for what needs to be done. And we're just going to go after, you know, through our legal process, because right now they're not doing right for the citizens that out in that area. So, oh, I'm sorry, it's not my meeting.
Alderman Smith.
Okay. So I hear what we have in place. To this question, I guess, to the attorney, is there anything else we can do to put more bite into this, to speed up the process, to make them not, they know we're serious, but is there anything else we can do on our end to move things forward? Or can we, for example, nothing's around the retention pond. Little Johnny falls in and drowns. Now, oh yeah, we're gonna do this now, blah, you know, that's being responsive as opposed to being proactive. How can we be proactive instead of reactive?
Well, we are being proactive. The problem is the process is set up in such a way where there's a lot of back and forth communication. By them giving us this communication today that among all of the things that still need to be done in terms of deferred maintenance, repairs, just things that they were supposed to do at the beginning that they never got done. They've said, as the chief of staff explained, we're only taking responsibility for $200,000 of these things. There's still a lot of stuff out there. We asked for clarification because we have to ask for clarification whether that means there's a formal denial from the surety to cover anything beyond $200,000. I don't think we got a response to that inquiry today, but we do need to know that, because then that gives us the ability to initiate an action on the surety bond through the courts. And we would seek to take as much of that money as we can. And then we would have to decide to use our own contractors to do that work, but we're not there yet. We're working toward there, but it's just a process. And sureties are typically tied to insurance companies. And if you've had to deal with insurance companies, you may know that they're not always easy to deal with. And they have very good attorneys who can gum up a process for a long time. So that's where we're at. We have been pushing it as much as we can. It does not help that Benoit Group has not been terribly responsive to us. And everything just takes a lot of time. So we're doing everything we can. I did want to say one other thing though, about the safety issues at Brookstone. There is a status hearing next week to see where they're at, with the safety enhancements and improvements that they had agreed to make, as directed by the, city's, adjudicator. Right now, they're supposed to have private security at weekends, expanded management office hours, and additional exterior lighting, plus some housekeeping stuff. A lot of that stuff's gonna be, they're gonna have to give a update as to where they stand on those things, plus other things that were in the order for them to do, but that's next week. And Mark Heinley, who you've seen before, will be at that meeting.
And if it doesn't happen,
Well, then you're gonna be, through your own codes, you're gonna start fighting them.
It's the code that was, I'm sorry, the decision by the hearing officer was $500 a day held in abeyance.
Right.
If they don't meet from the date 2 months ago.
Right.
So they will start being hit at $500 per day on each of those. The one thing that you can get some kind of response from Benoit Group, and it is like pulling teeth to Attorney Silverman's point, is when you start hitting them in the pocketbook. Review with staff today is that it's been 5 weeks since they were supposed to be in compliance with the landlord licensing, and they're not. And there's a fine sitting out, or a cost to them sitting out there at $29,100 that we're going to pursue. The other thing is, it's February is the month for follow-up with IDA, the Illinois Housing, and then Lake County Housing Authority as well. So, and they were certainly outraged about not taking the opportunity for the funding that we had for security. They were outraged that in fact, they told us, continue to pursue the surety. So.
Thank you.
It's a bad penny.
Alderman Allen?
I just wanna make sure on they gonna meet on the 13th at 9:30. So we just gotta make sure that if they not in compliance with this here, I wanna see some money start coming out their pocket.
I will,
Cause that's not right. If you're gonna have and say, well, you did 2 things out of 50, that's not working.
the conversation, point well taken, Alderman, the conversations that I had prior to the last hearing when the fines were in
Okay,
place are the same conversations with the same people I will have in advance of this meeting.
Okay, thank you. I'll be there.
Any other questions? Thank you, Greg. At this time, I'd like to close the Judiciary Committee meeting.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Allen, second by Alderman Coleman. Roll call.
Alderman Coleman.
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
Alderman Smith.
aye.
Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman January.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
I would like to open up, I'd like to open up Economic Development and Planning and Zoning Committee. Roll call.
Alderman Coleman.
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
Alderman Smith.
Aye.
Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman January.
Aye.
All right, we have 2 items on the agenda. Discussion of Old Main Avenue lease agreement and discussion of resolution of Lake County Private Activity Board clearing. Taylor.
Hey, good afternoon, Chairman and City Council. First item on here is the discussion of Zero Main Avenue lease agreement. There is a business that's actually in the audience. They introduced themselves earlier. A-List Taxi Cab and Bus. They operate taxis, limos, and buses here in Lake County. They proposed to the city a lease agreement for the property on the old North Chicago lumber yard. The city, as you know, acquired that property last summer. They are requesting a 2-year lease there with a monthly rate of $1,500 and 60 days notice to terminate by either party. for the use of that property. They're not looking for the entirety of that property, keep in mind. They are looking only at the portion of the property that's west of what's technically 0 Main Street or 0 Main Avenue. Turns into Foss Park Avenue, but this is the part that's got the long three-sided shed. Actually, clerk, would please just scroll up just a little bit more. You can see the map exhibit there. That area highlighted in purple is the lease area. It's generally bounded on all sides by a chain link fence. And there's the photo to the, just below that is the existing building structure that's out there. It's a three-sided steel shed, basically. And so this would be vehicle storage for the business, for their taxi, limo, and bus use. And so for discussion by the committee is that the terms of that lease agreement, and turn it over to you guys for any questions.
Thank you. Our next item. Oh, do we want to hear from the,
Yes, yes,
please come forward?
not Fred,
Come on, the whole team.
not Fred.
Good evening, everyone, and all of the attendees in the building this evening. My name is Christelle Ayers, and I am a North Chicago resident. And I've lived here for over 20 years, owned property here for over 20 years. I used to manage the Greenbelt Cultural Center, as some of you may or may not know. But I've always, when I left the Forest Preserve 10 years ago, my dream was to actually own my business here in North Chicago. I've looked at several properties and none have quite fit the bill, but I'm really excited about the opportunity of working here in this particular parcel of land because A, it's really close to the Navy base. That's great. B, I am excited about what's going to be happening at Sheridan Crossing. I really believe that that's going to happen. And I believe having a luxury ground transportation service so closely by will make a big difference. And C, and I think most important, is that we're going to be bringing jobs to North Chicago. And that's really our goal, is to actually be able to hire residents of North Chicago to actually serve the citizens of North Chicago as well. So really excited about bringing our business to town. You saw the picture and it's really not in the best of shape, but I understand that that's because it hasn't been used. We, of course, are going to make some improvements. And of course, my dream is to, of course, make it beautiful, where it is, as our name of our company, A-List. So we want to actually make sure that anything we do, we're bringing jobs, we're making a difference in bringing beauty and A-List service to our constituents here in North Chicago. So along that fence line, of course, we want to clean all that up. We want a blacktop, or should I say just at least seal coat. Thank you. Thank you. We want to seal coat that, get all the weeds down and really not have it be an eyesore for the Navy base, but in fact be something where they look and go, oh, that looks nice. And that they know that we're providing transportation for their sailors. But more than that, we're going to be serving the citizens of North Chicago. So those of you that need a taxi, or if you need transportation to the airport, or you're going on a night on the town with your family, call A-List. So we hope that this is definitely going to be a worthwhile thing for not only the A-List, but for the city as well. Lastly, I just want to say, I know I proposed $400 and that seems extremely low, but look at what it is now. I have some photos of what we'd like to see it be. And I thought maybe $1,000, kind of meeting you guys in the middle, would really be something allowing us to have the money to come in and really fix it up nicely. I didn't include you haven't seen mine yet, but I'm hoping that I could take a few minutes and show it to you. But what we're looking to do is to really just clean all of that up so that when you go down that road, you really see it. And of course, my big vision is, of course, to be an owner, to actually own that property so that we really can make some great improvements to it. Can't make all that as a 60-day could be out. So, and I understand that there's some vision that the city has for the property and the adjacent property. So we do understand that at this point, this is all contingent on what the city decides to do with the old lumberyard. My vision is, Gary at Safe Travel has been growing his business, but we see A-List really being there with buses. And actually, I have a nonprofit that we're starting where we're going to do driver training. So we want to actually train drivers to become truck drivers, bus drivers, and just regular drivers so that we are, again, creating more jobs for the people here of North Chicago. And Fred, who was the owner of Midwest Limousine, and he wanted me to remind you that he owned his business in Mundelein. I bought it to Waukegan, but I'm looking forward to bringing it to North Chicago. And then Jessica here, who is my fleet manager and operations manager, will be the one that makes sure that the place is nice. We're going to bring in, well, you want to tell a little bit of that?
Adding security, because right now there's no, there's poor lighting, so we're gonna improve into the lighting, into, cameras as well in order to make it a safe location. Since right now we probably assume that there's just, random activity there, but we want to make it part of the community that follows the rules of security and safety for neighbors and anybody that travels through that area. And that's something that we'll provide as well.
And of course, coming in, that particular property does not allow for an office, but we will want to, as we see more, I want to actually open an office in North Chicago so that we're operating our office in North Chicago as well. But to start, and to show you that we're good neighbors and good tax-paying neighbors, we want to, come in and just make the beautifications and show you that you would want to sell us the property. Any questions? Yes. Ms. Jenny.
Thank you,
I'll do
Chairman. Just want to say, awesome. I'm so glad that you want to bring your business to North Chicago. I'm so excited for you. And also, can I get some limousine rides or to see patients? My paperwork.
I want to say that one of the things is as an Army veteran, I'm working with the VA and we're hoping to do transportation for veterans, but we want to expand that to transportation for the citizens here as well. Because right now we're working with elder care where we're taking seniors to doctor's appointments. We did that throughout the entire pandemic. We worked with the county taking citizens to go get COVID testing and things like that. So this is where my heart is. This is exciting for me. And yes, we want to provide that transportation, especially medical transportation for those that really can use it.
Perfect. Hopefully we'll see you in the building over here on Zero Main.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have.
Alderman Coleman. Go ahead.
First of all, I'd like to say that I had the opportunity to work with Mr. Fred as a Falls Park Commissioner. Great guy, great guy. Just point of information, a lot of character. Stand-up guy. I've heard so many positive things about your business. And I am so pro-business. I think that we need more businesses, and I think that was one of the goals, was to attract more businesses to the city of North Chicago. The only concern that I have, right, and I'm going to address this to the alderman, because we want you. Trust me, we want you and Fred. I know throughout the past, contractually, we have not secured the best interest of the city of North Chicago contractually, i.e. Brookstone, i.e. the grocery store, i.e. Don't want to go there, but that is Sheridan Road, right? And that is prime property. And if we really have a vision of rebuilding Sheridan Road, we have to make sure that we have an overall strategy and a plan, right? And we're just not throwing things together, right? And make sure that we're contractually sound as a city so that we don't lose any taxpayers' dollars. And I think that that is so important. Me personally, I would need a little bit more time. So not saying no, I know it's so nervous, but I would need a little bit more time to go into more detail. Maybe speak with Fred. I know that is in Alderman Evans' ward, if I had his blessing. But my expertise, I shouldn't say expertise, but real estate is, what it is. And I just want a little bit more time to look into the project because that is prime property and we're looking at $400, right?
No, 1,500.
1,500?
Yes, 1,500.
Okay. And some of the things that I'm pretty sure you guys already taken care of, but that would be the aesthetics as well. I know sometimes transportation businesses, they start off with the idea of, we're going to make things look nice. And then over time, you might have a cab that break down or a limo or a truck or something that breaks down just sitting in the yard. And I know currently we have an auto body shop and a mechanic shop on Sheridan Road, on 18th and Sheridan Road. So me personally, I need a little bit more time. If you guys want to go ahead and support it, but we have to make sure this contract is good. We have to make sure that, I know if Mr. Fred says he's gonna do it, he's gonna do it. But just to have it in writing so that we can have some teeth, in case things don't go, quite the way we planned. So that would just be my one word of advice. I'm not gonna slow anything up. I'm not gonna, and I know your best interest is for the city of North Chicago too. So I relinquish the floor.
Alderman Coleman, and I appreciate your comment. And one of the things that when I spoke with Taylor about this, one of my concern was I'm going to be making a hefty investment to, in fact, make sure that it is A-list, right? So for me, I'm actually pouring in, and he had originally written it where it was 30 days notice, you could boot me out. I'm not owning anything. This is 60 days notice. They can change your mind. You can change your mind and say, we changed our mind. We found another direction we want to go in. And I understood that because I know that there's some engineering and road design that needs to happen. And so therefore there could be some change. And I'm hoping, I personally would love to see more time that, I had a 1-year lease that I knew that lease was guaranteed. But in actuality, it's got a 60-day contingency clause that should the city decide that it's not a good fit or they decided to go a different direction, they certainly can. And that's unnerving, actually. It's like, ugh. But I hope that you'll find that I'm such a good partner that you don't want to go a different direction. I think that you're going to be so pleased to have a luxury ground transportation service that provides everything from taxi to limousine to shuttle buses to vans to medical transportation right in your town.
To add some point of clarity, I wouldn't want you to go nowhere. I mean, I want this to be a long-term thing, right? So.
But the way it's written, it's not, it doesn't, and Taylor maybe can attribute to that a little bit, because I want it written where I'm not going anywhere either.
Yeah, no. It's not about if, I mean, we want you here, we want you to stay long-term, and we want things to work out. And, it's just our job to protect the taxpayers, and it has nothing to do with you. This has been something that has been going on through our city before you got here. So this has nothing to do with you. I want to work with you guys for you guys to be here forever, right? And it's not if we want you here, but let's sit down and let's work this through so you guys can stay here. And if that even includes giving you tax breaks throughout or permit waivers in order, and I'm throwing some stuff out there, but in order to get you guys going, I wish we had a fund that we no longer have, in which maybe we could give you some grant money that we got to help you with your startup. So, I mean, I'm want to support you like that. But let's just make sure that we're contractually sound. It's not a yes or no. It's let's just, like Mr. Fred say, let's try to take a nice smooth swing and, not push it through the agenda, but just take a nice smooth swing and see what we can do to work together as a partnership.
Well, and I certainly appreciate that. Thank you very much for that, because in fact, there is a grant that is for small veteran-owned businesses that I would like to apply for, but it would go for purchase. But I think getting in, that's also going to help in acquiring that grant. Just being able to say, I have a location and all of that. So I think.
And purchase, with that, I would want you to
The
purchase.
grant
it.
would help with that, but I understand the city's not ready to commit to that, so I don't want to push too hard. But I know that's due April 4th. It gives us a little time to kind of get in and kind of show the good neighbors that we will be.
I know you're gonna be great neighbors.
Alderman Allen.
I just want to let you know that, I think this is great. And I'd like to see it put on the agenda for vote up or vote down in 2 weeks. Let's get it done. So. Go ahead. I just want to make sure.
We can direct him. I got that.
Okay, no, he's.
Okay, okay, I'll let you finish, then I'll get the
Okay, well, I'm
grade.
just saying, but for me, I'm just saying that I think that we should move forward with that on that. That's just, I'm just talking to you about it.
Thank
It's on your thing, so, like I said, we want business coming out of the community, we dragging our feet on certain things. They don't ask for no money, they just wanna get started, get going. Okay, thank you.
Yes, great.
Thank you, Alderman. A couple of things, the 60-day clause is in there because we have a new comp plan. We're trying to figure out what we're gonna do all up and down Sheridan Road. And it's important for us not to be hasty when we make decisions on the assets like the city's property. It may be a year from now we decide, or 2 years from now we decide that, hey, the best thing to do is to sell this company, this property, because we're gonna move on. To respond to your concern, Alderman Coleman, which is a well-founded concern, is what the council can do is to allow 2 weeks until the next city council meeting where it would be up for a vote. And it can either go to the regular agenda to offer further discussion between the aldermen, or be taken off the omnibus agenda so that the council can turn around and anything they found when they reviewed the contract or things like that over the next 2 weeks. It would allow you the opportunity to turn around and share your concerns and comments with each other. Just a suggestion.
Can I address that? I think that's a great idea, and I have to agree with Alderman, I would agree with Alderman Bobby Allen, that, and also Greg, that we can push it to the next agenda because we don't ever want to slow a business down coming into our city. If I could have some assurance, maybe me and Greg offline, we can, we can talk about it, and then I get a chance to speak with you guys one-on-one. And then I'm not making any promises, but I'm pretty sure we'll have an answer before the next council meeting, right? Okay, thank you.
Alderman Evans.
I would like to congratulate you on coming to North Chicago, bringing your business to North Chicago without any hesitation. I know how hard you guys work and how hard you've been working. I don't know about your staff, but I know you, your business, and you do have a good staff because I do know Mr. Fred and everything. But I can say, I'm glad you chose North Chicago to come into our city.
Yes.
So welcome,
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right, now, what I would like to say is, in case you didn't know, North Chicago was voted #2 in the state of Illinois to start a business. I'm excited that you want to start a business here in North Chicago. I do have a question, Taylor, Greg, that 60 days, me being a business person myself, that's a lot of pressure. They're going to invest money into their project, and then, can we revisit that on that 60 days and give them a little more wiggle room?
Yeah, absolutely. If it's committee's desire to change the terms that are proposed, absolutely, you guys can change those. Just a little background on the time frame there for the notice. We did want to keep a little bit of tighter time frame on that due to the kind of lack of building structure improvements that are currently out there, this being vehicles, it is a little bit more of a mobile business. And then secondly, because of the plans for that area, that vicinity are still under development, we're still doing preliminary engineering for the roadway that would eventually get realigned to Foss Park Avenue. We wanted to keep our options as open as possible so that we could be flexible and make any alterations as needed there.
So there is flexibility on that, correct?
Yeah, if your guidance is to have a longer notice period, we can provide that.
Yes.
There's 2 notice periods. Just, city council needs to know that there's 2 different timeframes in the lease. The 60-day period that we're talking about is when there's a violation of the lease and they have 60 days to cure.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Otherwise, the lease can be terminated on 30 days at any time. Just so everyone's aware of that. So it's a very specific thing for the 60 days.
Absolutely, okay. And then I have another question. If I heard correctly, you're not gonna be able to build an office there. You're only storing the vehicles there?
Well, again, given what I understand is that if in fact the city did apply for a grant for engineering for the road and did not get it, but scored pretty high with it, they could apply again and in that point actually need the property that's adjacent, and therefore the engineering could affect where I am. So for me to build a building on something that could easily be taken away, that wouldn't be prudent. So if in fact that were moving toward ownership, obviously that would be the first thing. Now, again, I just want to say that we are adjacent east of Sheridan Road. So it's not on Sheridan Road, it's not at Sheridan Crossing. This is a little more tucked away. In fact, the lumberyard, as you drive past it, is a bit of an eyesore.
Yes.
The way it stands now. If I were to be able to get that grant, that might be something, if it were open, that we could knock that down and put up really nice things in that, nice buildings in that area. And again, that training area. But I know that that's not on the table. So for me, yeah, I would love to see something a little more permanent so that I know I could put in buildings and be there for a while. But in the interim, what I'd like to do is to make it very nice. Screening around the fence so that they're not. And I could show you the photos if you're open of what we designed. You want to take a quick look at that?
Oh, you have it with you?
Go ahead.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Um,
And then while you're getting that, then the next question would be, your security and all of that goes because, and then the security as far as your vehicles.
mhm.
And then the next question would be, your funding. Do you have your funds in place if we decide to go with this to move forward and set everything up?
Absolutely. And again, my proposal was originally 400 because of all that needs to be done. And when I show you the pictures, you'll see what I mean. But then I came back with a counter of 1,000.
Is anyone able to
Can
help?
we plug in
I
in
got
here?
one question, Wayne. Go ahead.
Alderman Allen.
Chris, Miss Chris.
We're gonna find out today.
Miss Chris, can I ask you-
Yes, Alderman.
Hey, have you talked to, Taylor about when people build buildings, like you're doing over here at the Veteran Closet, you couldn't put a trailer there till you got up?
I would.
I'm just asking, they did it over here. I'm just asking a question.
It's-
I'm looking.
I'll let Taylor answer that.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so there are temporary buildings allowances in our city code that we can do.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
Well, you
a-
didn't
like a
make-
6-month period or something like that.
Well, it'd be good.
As a permanent structure, that would not be permitted for zoning there, to have a just permanent trailer for the use. So we had those kind of conversations.
Okay, well, I'm just saying.
And that's good, yeah.
I just bring it to our attention because when they build buildings now, they put up bring a trailer in there temporarily, this construction trailer. She can use that, but she can use it. It's like a little space for a while until later on. But I didn't hear that. So that's what I'm saying. Give me all the information sometimes, so let's make a better decision. I'm just bringing to her attention that she could be doing something like that, because how can you stop her?
And that would be good because if you have your cars there,
How'd
you
you
have
guess?
temporary, you can boom, make phone call, yep, hey,
That's-
driver number 6, go there.
That's what I'm saying.
Good.
So That's why I didn't hear that, so.
Okay.
That's what economics should be telling me this, cause that's what. He just said she can't put a building, cause she don't own the building, but she can do this here for a
Temporary, yeah.
temporary time.
Sounds good.
We're definitely thinking the same way,
Okay.
because that's my thought as well. I think that, for us, because we're going into an area that, we're not sure just how 24 hours or how much demand we'll have. So of course, we're going to start off, and I hope I'm not taking up too much time because I know this was.
Information is
brief.
important.
Okay, I appreciate that. So let's go to the next slide. We want to say go Navy. Of course, we're there. That's a little bit about me. That was back, a great photographer took that photo for me. And just, again, I told you a little bit about me, so we can skip on to the next. This is our promise. We always provide clean, comfortable vehicles. Our motto is to be 15 minutes early or we're late. So we believe that we're a 5-star business. If you look us up on Google, because of that, that's how we roll. So next. These are some of our services that we provide, airport celebrations. We talked about that as well. We have benefits of, if you travel with us, you can actually earn rewards and get free travel. And that's whether it's going in a taxi or if you're going in a limousine. Next. Again, I talked to you a little bit about our 5-star reviews. Again, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. Any of you that have been to the Greenbelt Cultural Center, you know that that's the way we rolled over there. And we've continued now 10 years since I've left the Forest Preserve, continue to do the same thing here. Whether it's our sedans, our party bus, and even coach buses, which we work with other companies for their coach buses. We don't have one in fleet right now. So this is the facility as it exists right now. Again, we want to clean up all that shrubbery, all of that around the grounds. The fence is in need of some repair. We want to bring that fencing up to speed. All that shrubbery along the fence, we want to clean up. And so that from that angle, when you're looking at that, you won't see even side, because as we go to the next picture, you'll see that even on the far end. Now, this is across the street from our current office, the old St. Therese Hospital. I'm sure everyone's familiar with it. They put some green screening up there, and that green screening, I thought, is really a good way to kind of camouflage what's going on behind, but really give you a good look. So we thought, let's do our own black screening. It's Black History Month. We're going to do our black screening on that fence. And so we just kind of gave you an idea of how we see kind of covering, and that screening would go all the way around. So you wouldn't see what was going on behind it, but we know that we're going to clean it up with black topping. And this is again, with minimal funds and being invested. Whereas once we know that we're owning and we're moving toward that, we would certainly want to even do more. If you go back one to there at the hospital, no, one ahead. At the hospital, they have a trailer that you can't really see, but it's in this left-hand corner. It's called McDonald, and they actually have a work trailer over there. And see, it's like you knew. But they have a work trailer there, and it allows them to service the people that are going in and out of the property. And we would want to do similar. And so we're thinking security in a work trailer similar to that, but we know it can only be for short term. And then hopefully at that point, maybe the city will know a little bit more what they're seeking to do with the property on a long-term basis. Did this help at all?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So this again is my vision. Now this is, as you know, the old lumber yard, and it doesn't look like that. That's what Google said, but it's at a fire. So it's in some real bad disrepair. We would love to see demolishing those buildings and moving more into that and putting a nice new building in that space, which I know the grant funding for veterans is still available, and that would be something. But I understand that the road comes first, and I don't have a problem with that at all.
Actually, if you don't know,
Mayor.
that section that you're seeing right there, we actually are going to be putting a road through there.
Yeah.
Right.
Off of the Navy property.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
And that's why I understand. And as the engineering occurs, then you would make decisions on what you're going to do there. But for the property that's behind, I'm hoping that your new road will just go right past me and that'll be something that I own. And again, I'm looking at Sheridan Crossing. I didn't include that photo, but I believe it's gonna happen. I believe hotels are gonna be there and we can have an office over there, but our property with our vehicles would be across the road. So I have vision, and as a owner here in North Chicago, I want to see North Chicago continue to grow. And I want to see my property values continue to go up. And that happens by bringing great businesses in town, which I believe A-List is.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
So let's work together.
There you go.
I
Yes,
think,
sir.
Alderman Bobby,
You gotta let Fran say something.
I would like to say, as you know, I started the business back in the eighties and, you know, in Wonderland. And, I operated the business in, from the eighties all the way up until 2009, I believe. And that's when she took over. So I'm just letting you know that, we're not a fly-by-night.
That's right.
And we hope to bring on 10 to 15 new positions this year in 2025 in order to handle the veterans contract, in order to handle the work that we have currently. So that's 15 jobs, not just drivers. We're talking office, we're talking managers. So we're ready to bring jobs into the city of North Chicago. CDLs, you know, they're making $40 an hour. So, so again, thank you for your time. And I do hope that you want our business as much as we want to be here.
Alderman Coleman.
no, this isn't for you. I agree with Alderman Bobby Allen about the trailer. I think that's a good idea. Then that way she can make phone calls and things of that nature. So I think the trailer should run congruent with whatever the property is. So if she's there for a year, then she's good for a year to have a trailer there. So from the start to the end, have a trailer. So I think that's a good point.
All right, let's move it forward. And, sorry, Mayor?
I didn't hear, she had a request in as far as, monthly pay. I didn't hear any, I'm sorry. I didn't hear council address that.
So again, just to be clear, I know that it's a high value property, but I'm thinking for the first year of $1,000 and then moving to 1,500 in the second year because of the investment that I have to make moving in.
I got a dollar amount. I gotta be acknowledged.
Oh, Alderman Coleman?
Oh, I think it should be $1 a month. I think it should be $1 a month. I think that we should contractually get them, if they're gonna work on the property, right? I think that's Sheridan Road. That's the 10,000 cars drive down Sheridan Road a day, and they get an answer. They look at that, and that's what they see, the city of North Chicago. And Sheridan Road is a thoroughbred. I want to see the work done contractually, meaning if you're gonna put that screen up there, put the screen up there, make it look beautiful. If you're taking, I see you don't have a lot of startup money, and if we're serious about partnering with you, I say put that money into the aesthetics of Sheridan Road. So when people drive down Sheridan Road, it looks nice. So I think it should be $1.
Well, I appreciate that, but I know the city could use some money, and I think that that's a good compromise. I can afford 1,000. I can afford 1,500, but that may cut back on all the aesthetics that I want to do. So that's the reason why I love $1, don't get me wrong, but I want to be fair as well.
Right?
Just so I know what, it's gonna be presented to council on, at the next council meeting. That's what he really wants.
All right. Greg?
Yes.
I would be remiss if I didn't come and say to the council that I can certainly, give you a much more detailed conversation when we do one-on-ones on this property. But it would be a precedence that I'm not sure we would want to create with new businesses up and down Sheridan Road, because we hope to have a lot of them.
Yeah.
At $1 a piece, even more so when it's our property. So
Mr.
I think $1,000 is, I think, I just offered that to the council for the council's consideration.
Mr. Gregg, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Mr. Coleman?
Mr. Gregg, the definition of sanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, right?
Albert Einstein.
Yes, exactly. So what I had envisioned was there are programs that offer houses for $1. That's more familiar to people in the audience, where they actually offer the house for $1. And there's a reason for that, is because it stimulates the economy and it gets us back into business, and it brings us, attracts new businesses when those business owners come down. So you have to do something different, right? And sometimes you have to step outside the box, right? Because if you've been doing something for 20 years and ain't nothing there, ain't nothing might not be there for another 20 years. So let's do something different. Let's partner with businesses, right? And bring them in. Now, she said something that was very important. She said, I can afford to pay $1,000, but that cash flow is going to slow down on maybe one aesthetic, right? I'm not saying it's going to stop you, but maybe one aesthetic. So you get something and you lose something. So that's where I'm at. If it adds clarity, the dollar house for the where you get your community to buy a house for $1, that's more familiar. And that's the concept that I would be applying. And if there were, think about it, if, like you say, if there were 100 businesses that came to Sheridan Road and we gave it to them for $1, that tax and that money coming in would lower the taxes for the entire city, right? And that's called gentrification of Sheridan Road, which is building up your TIF district, right? To bring in more revenue into the city, right? So if that trend started and we had 100 businesses knocking on the door for $1 just to get us on the tax rolls, and it's a lease, and we have 30 days we can put them out, right? So get some things going, right? And then at that time, we can make a decision of saying, hey, this is what we want, this is what we don't want. But if people like yourself are willing to buy into our community, then skin in the game is what we need to do as a city. And we haven't been doing that with businesses. So I just want you to know, I'm for you. I want you to come here, okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bless.
Great.
Happy to be here, Alderman.
All right, thank you, thank you. Any more questions? All right, so attorney, just for clarification. What'd you say, Gloria? Oh, okay. So do we need to address the dollar amount for the lease now, or?
I would,
All right,
yeah, so when it's presented to you in 2 weeks, you have the right amount.
all right. I like to go on, so can I make the proposal? How?
Yes.
All right, I'd like to welcome you to as a business to the city of North Chicago. I think that there'll be a good meet in the middle to do the $1,000. And do I need to make a motion? Okay.
Yeah, you just need a consensus.
Okay, can I get a consensus from city council?
I'm gonna agree with everybody. She's in agreement to 1,000, you're in agreement, so I'm agreeing, so it's 1,000 it is then.
No.
Okay,
No, I want to agree was you and him.
Yeah, right now, we hear two.
Oh. Hmm.
all right. So I ask the question then, so what is the general consensus then? The 1,500? Is that the general consensus?
Yes.
That's one.
Yes,
Alderman Smith.
Okay, so we got another 1,000. So that's three.
Wait a minute, Alderman Smith, excuse me.
Alderman Murphy?
Can I be acknowledged? Yeah. Are we discussing $1,000 a month or $1,500 a month?
We're trying to get a general consensus. We have three for 1,000. We have one for 1,500.
Okay, and the
Alderman
lease,
Murphy? Yes,
the lease option as it stands right now is what?
1,500.
1,500, okay.
yes.
I
That's
would
how
be,
it's written. That's how it's currently written.
that's how it's currently written, okay. I would be okay with either. Obviously, my preference is the 1,500, but I would be okay with the 1,000.
But Alderman Murphy, we need you to make a decision.
Then the 1,500.
Could I?
Mayor?
Real quick, throw something else, and I'm just throwing it, making this muddy again. Does MCO rent from us also?
Yes, they do. They rent the southwest corner of Martin Luther King Jr. Drive and Commonwealth Avenue.
What is?
$500 per month.
How much?
500.
Okay.
What is the square footage of what's you have to compare apples with oranges.
Yeah.
They're pretty comparable in terms of the area of the property, different in their geometry and improvements. The Commonwealth property, I don't believe has barbed wire fencing around the perimeter, and it doesn't have a building structure.
Okay, so it does have, this has more amenities than that one does.
Correct.
The appearance might not be there.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, wait, we trying, before I'll get to you in a minute. Let's get a consensus first, and we can. So we have two for 1,500, 3 for 1,000, Alderman January, huh? So we have a general consensus for 1,000. Okay, Alderman, so that's the general consensus and agreement. Alderman Coleman, question.
All right, well, it sounds like good news so far, but this question is for Taylor. Taylor, contractually, as far as aesthetics, I know you're gonna do it anyway, but what are we requiring them to do that? Is put the black screen up?
We can turn that into the terms of the agreement. The fencing that was shown, that's the first I've seen of it. The black fencing that has the logo on it, just disclaimer, that would not be permitted per our zoning, or sign ordinance rather. We would not be able to have the commercial branding across the entirety of the fencing there. So I would just kind of ask on the question of improvements and the trailer and the fencing that's been brought up, if you would just allow me to work with the tenant if we enter into a lease agreement on appropriate improvements for the property. If you guys want to put in conditions of the agreement that they have to meet certain benchmarks, and that's when I would say additional time is needed to discuss those improvements and make sure that they're incorporated in the agreement.
Okay, so we're at 1,000. I would still like to see the agreement, what we're gonna agree on as far as the work that's going to be done. And I'll be good with moving forward. Yes.
I just want to clarify one thing. The conversations I did have with Ms. Ayers was about a 60-day termination. I think in the shuffle of some of the drafts that we were going through, that correction wasn't made to that copy. So the intent in our conversations up to this point has been for a 60-day notice. So I would ask if there could just be consensus that that would be the term that's introduced.
Is everyone clear what Taylor's saying right now? Because there's two different timelines. As it reads right now, the 60-day notice is a 60-day notice to cure a default. And if they don't, then they can be evicted off the property. regardless of that, the lease can be terminated on 30 days' notice. That's how it's currently written. I think what Taylor is suggesting, based on his conversations with,
Ms. Ayers?
yes, that, it's 60 days either way, so.
Okay.
That sounds good, yes. Okay.
And that's $500 cheaper, right?
It is definitely $500 cheaper, but do keep in mind, and I did talk to Taylor about this, that when I bring my business to town, I'm bringing my business to town. So to just say, hey, it's January, by March, you've got to go, would be completely disruptive. And so I've asked that if you know you're going to get a grant, you're going to know that far in advance. If you're doing engineering and you know that you're going to be moving the road and I'm going to have to go, I'd want still as much notice as
respect.
possible.
Respect.
Okay, I think that's fair.
That's fair enough.
I hope that that's not the case, but I know that what I'm going into, so I do understand it is possible I could be asked to leave because it's for the better need of the city. I just ask for as much notice as possible.
And this is what I would do as the chair, we will put that into agreement that if we know we're gonna move forward, we will let you know. As soon as we know, we will let you know.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Alderman January.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to make sure that with moving forward, once the final copy of the contract has been put together, that we are getting a copy of that before city council so that we can review and make sure the i's are dotted and the t's are crossed.
I like that.
Fair enough. Taylor,
Thank you.
got it. Any more questions?
Congratulations.
Thank you, and thank you for your time. I'm excited.
Thank you. All right. Taylor?
All right, next item on the agenda is the resolution for discussion reallocating the 2025 volume cap to the Village of Buffalo Grove. The city has a $3.9 million volume cap allocation that's based on a per capita amount of $130. As with past practice, Lake County coordinates together, the municipalities in Lake County, those that with home rule authority can allocate their private activity bonding volume cap to the Village of Buffalo Grove, which has adopted their own resolutions to be kind of the host community for this volume cap. So North Chicago historically with the other home rule communities in Lake County have allocated our funding volume cap to Buffalo Grove, and we would ask for the same for this year. This is so that collectively that volume cap can achieve greater things. These are this is bonds that are used for eligible projects only, and those are types of projects that we don't currently have anticipation for here in North Chicago, things like an airport or something like that. So these are monumental project types. And so we have no need for that locally. And so if we allocate those together as Lake County as a whole, with these other municipalities, it can achieve a greater good for the benefit of the whole county as opposed to any one individual community.
Any questions? Thank you, Taylor. All right. I'd like to make a motion to close Economic Development Planning and Zoning Committee.
So move.
Moved by Alderman Allen, second by Alderman January. Roll call.
Alderman Coleman,
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
Alderman Smith.
Aye.
Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman January.
Okay, I'd like to open up the Public Works Committee meeting. Roll call.
Alderman Coleman.
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
Alderman Smith. Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman January.
Before I start. Before I start. I just sat here and I listened to all the questions that was asked for the company that want to come into the city, which is nice that she has a company that she want to bring into the city. But we sit up here and we ask that company several questions. And right after they got through, they had another question that came up on $1 million contracts that was just mentioned, something that was just mentioned. Did not one person have a question about it?
Oh, I got a question on this next one. Just slow down.
wait a
We got
second.
$5 million overrun. We got it.
I'm over here talking.
But you already out of order, Carl.
I'm on my committee.
You already, that's not the way you started.
So, therefore, I'm not trying to disturb anybody. I'm just being honest. I mean, this is what you see. And under the committee, I can speak about it. See, you have to watch what you speak about now, because like you've been told, everything is jumpy right now. Everything is jumpy. February 25th come, maybe everything will die down after that. But yes, for the moment, I'm gonna speak my mind, and it's gonna be okay. Whether somebody wanna stop it, if I see it, I'm gonna say it. You had that company come here that wanna come into the city, will have to sit here and ask 100 questions, which she was very professional answering them. But at the same time,
Didn't you vote on giving
At
away
the-
$300,000
same
with
time,
non-contractual with the grocery store?
same time.
Did you ask
we had
questions then?
someone-
It's called a partnership.
Again.
It's called
Wait,
negotiating.
again, are you speaking?
You're already
See,
out of
the
order.
problem is that. all I'm
Point of
doing is- all
order
I'm
to
doing
the
is speaking.
agenda.
Point of
All
order,
I'm doing
to-
is speaking.
point of
So I'm
order,
not trying to,
stay to the agenda, sir. Point
I'm
of,
in the agenda. I'm
stay
in
on the agenda.
Public Works Committee.
Point of order,
Public Works
follow
Committee.
the
Do you
agenda.
understand that? Do you understand what the agenda is?
Yes, item
Okay.
1,
If you understood.
$5 million
again,
overrun. Item 1.
Understood where you was at, you would know what is what. I'm in my committee. See, I can speak, I'm in my committee.
Only on
So
the
therefore-
committee, only,
there-
you can only speak on your agenda.
Therefore,
Point of
should no
order,
one be disturbing
item number
me
1.
and my committee that they're spoken to. So I'm not gonna argue with someone that don't know no better.
Item number 1, point of order, follow the
continue.
agenda.
So at this time, we're gonna have our city engineer come up to speak, but first, let me just say this. We are gonna discuss and review of the change order number 1, not to exceed the amount of $13,030.58 to increase the overall contract value to $5,363,030.58 for the building envelope renovation project at the water treatment plant. Water treatment plant, go right ahead and speak about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, good evening, Alderman. The city approved a contract to Bennett and Brousseau Roofing on March 13th, 2024. The contract value was $5,350,000 to install new roof. Second here. We had a lot of stuff in there. We did the roofing, we did the masonry, we did some demolition work, we did tuck pointing, caulking, interior protection as well, windows and skylights, plumbing, HVAC, painting, and then other miscellaneous work. As we dug into the water plant, into the building envelope, a lot of things were wrong. And we worked through basically everything out there. And we're done. And what came down to is that towards the very end of the project, if Lori has the 2 last pictures up there, if you go up a picture, please, Lori. This is what, and if you could pan the picture over a little bit to the right, I don't know if you can. This is what the guys down at the water plant had. There's their kitchen. And basically we had to replace the window that's on the exterior wall on your left. We also had to turn around and, that's as part of the project, we had tuck pointing all down that wall. The roof above, their kitchen area was damaged. We had to run new piping in there. We had to remove all that stuff. And that's what this $13,000 extra that you see that's in front of you is basically for. The flooring, you can see all the holes in the floor and everything else in that existing photograph. And you can see the condition of the cabinets. Those cabinets that were in there and everything else that was in that kitchen was like original to the plant. It was pretty old and, yes. So now if you go down to the picture below it. You can see in here where, yes, we now have a coat of paint in there for them. The walls are painted. We have all the tuck pointing. Oh, sorry. We have the new HVAC system in there. That's a blower. That's hot water heat and cooled in there. We fixed the flooring. We gave them some new cabinets, and they're not real expensive cabinets. We just went and just had them get what we can afford for down at Home Depot to turn around and put in there. And in order to give them a spot where they can eat, that's the $13,000 change order that you see that's in front of you. At the time we were ordering all this work, we went through all the different processes as to, originally we thought we were gonna come in a little bit under, but this is what pushed us over the budget. And it is the only change order for the project.
Any questions regarding the water treatment
I
plant?
just got one question. Steve, this first started out though, it probably been only what, 3 million? It's at 5 million now.
No, it's 5 million. Sorry, I had a typo in it.
Oh, you got a typo?
It's 5 million, $5.3 million.
I'm saying it's now, I'm saying, but I thought it was less than that with that
Real
real.
question regarding the water
No.
treatment plant.
Okay.
That's why I attached the bid tabs for you guys as well as part of the project.
Okay.
Any other
What was I
questions?
talking about? Okay, I'm sorry. She
Oh,
said something.
alright.
That's why, okay, that's what I'm getting to. The estimate was $2 or $3 million. That's what I'm saying, because when we estimated out, I talked to the comptroller just a few weeks ago about that, and you said,
No,
Speaking of first, the project first is put on.
pre-COVID, yes.
that's what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the question I was asking you, when it a different price than what it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was it was less than this here. Okay.
It's a project that we've been planning to do for quite some time. And each year that we put it off, it just, COVID just drove the price of all construction through the roof.
So with all that construction, Steve, when does that supposed to start?
It's done.
It's
It's
done.
done?
Project is done.
Now-
This is the final balancing change order for the project.
Wow.
We are done.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, let me ask you this. Is there any cameras in that area?
I'm not aware of any cameras
Oh,
in
you're
the
not?
kitchen.
Oh, okay. Just was curious. since it's
Are we putting
so
any
nice.
cameras in the kitchen?
I'm not involved in
I thought since
placing
it was
cameras.
so nice, I thought it would be nice
We-
just in case.
No cameras in the kitchen. Let them cook. Let them cook.
Okay,
Quick question,
go right ahead.
Mr. Chairman. This $5 million is for that area there, for the kitchen?
No,
No.
That's the overall, okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, some of this was not me. I don't think, pre-COVID, I wasn't sitting on the board. So what is the 5 million exactly? What does it cover?
Yes, I'll repeat myself here.
Correct.
So
Mhm.
the $5 million, the work that was all completed as part of the project, you got all new roofing, you got all new sheet metal that's up on the roof. You had all the masonry work that was damaged and, that had to be fixed.
Right.
You had
And this is-
demolition work.
One second. So this 13,000 that was the original, the 5 million was the original project
Correct.
that we had
The
bid it
change
out.
orders is for $13,000.
And now we're overrunning for 13,000 to do the kitchen is basically what it's coming down to.
Right.
All right.
Thank you so much, Steve, for enlightening us about the water plant. We need to be updated about that plant, because so many things can happen down there. And thank God that you guys got the cameras and everything down there for the security of our
Money maker.
for our people that's down there, because they are away from our city. So thank goodness. Thank you. Then question number 2, discussion review of TAI work order not to exceed the amount of $254,000 for design, engineering, and bidding assistance. Lewis Avenue Basin Improvements Phase 2 project.
So as you're all aware, previously I brought in some agreements in front of you, some pre-award agreements from, for DCO funding. And that was for building the Lewis Avenue Detention Basin, which is, currently under design. We're just about, I'd say 95% designed, pre-final plans. Actually on Friday this past week, we actually received the agreement from SMC, the final agreements to fund both phase 1 and phase 2. Those agreements are for 2.75 million each. So the funding is in place, and with that, when we, those agreements will be brought at the next council meeting, for Public Works Committee for a review and discussion. The next part of the project, the first part of the project for the Lewis Avenue Detention Basin was to build a relief, stormwater detention basin. And Lori, if you go to the pictures, the very last 2. Keep going. That's the Lewis Avenue Detention Basin, just showing the location of it. Okay, so this is the first project location for the storm sewer improvements. A lot of you may know, as I know our clerk Lori Collins knows, Pettibone Creek actually, even though the elevations are a lot higher, we have a lot of flooding in the older part of the community all along 20th Street there. So as you go up 20th Street to Winter Avenue, to Sherman Avenue, and to Wallace Avenue, those side streets, we're gonna be upsizing and putting in new storm sewer on those side streets. Also bringing it down and tying into an existing larger storm sewer pipe down on 20th Street as well. If you can go to the next slide. Go down one. In addition, all of the Pettibone Creek drains out over by Glen. That segment of Broadway from MLK going all the way down in front of the apartments. There's a few storm sewer inlets at the corner of MLK and Broadway, but then the rest of it has no storm sewer. Yeah, there's no storm sewer. So we're gonna be putting in storm sewer in this segment and tying it in to get better drainage, because if most of you have driven Broadway in that area, the road is shot. And why is it shot? Because the water just goes off the center and just sits on the side of the roads, and it's pretty flat, doesn't drain very well. So we're gonna be putting in some storm sewer, coming down and tying it in at the very end as well.
Steve, is that where that sinkhole was? Right off of
Close by.
Jackson and Broadway? right
Close
there?
by. That was the same storm sewer, some of the main trunk lines in the city. So as part of this next phase, phase 2, we're gonna be upsizing storm sewer, installing some new storm sewer. And then we'll repair the roads when we get done. And the goal is to have that project ready to go out to bid, next year in the spring.
Any questions? Righty. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
At this time, I'd like to close the Public Works Committee meeting. Second. Moved by Alderman January, second by Alderman Coleman. Roll call.
Alderman Coleman.
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
Alderman Smith. Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman January.
Like to open up the finance/audit committee meeting, roll call?
Alderman Coleman.
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
Alderman Smith. Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman January.
We have one item on the agenda, discussion or consideration for the purchase of desktop with LCD display in the amount not to exceed $26,882.
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, I asked last council meeting, committee meeting, that this be pulled and tabled until I could verify that it went through the Sourcewell process, which is the competitive, for the competitive bid. I didn't have that verification when I was presenting at the last meeting. I have since gotten that. So I just wanted to make sure we did what we were required from.
Okay,
That's it.
any questions on that? Can I get a motion to close the audit committee meeting? All right, motion by Alderman Coleman, can I get a second by Alderman Evans, roll call. I ain't gonna.
Alderman Coleman.
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
Alderman Smith. Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman January.
Yeah.
Great job, Chairman. Great
That
job.
was- I know, yeah, Alderman ain't gonna, he ain't gonna play around with it. I mean, when he,
What can I do?